Hey everyone, Scary House Cooking Everything Outdoors show, and today we're making pies on a Camp Chef smoke vault for the holidays. Scary House, the outdoor cook, cooking everything outdoors show. I hope you try this at home. Today we're making 4 pies. I'm going to make a mixed berry crisp, a pumpkin pie, a cranberry apple pie, and a caramel apple crisp. These are very, very simple. Not a lot of ingredients. And guys, you need to step up to the plate, because after I'm done showing you this, there's no excuse for you not making a pie this holiday. 2 main things that I'm using making these pies: a cast iron pie pan. This is a 10-inch. It's from Camp Chef. And I'm making all 4 of these pies in the Camp Chef smoke vault. So it's not just for smoking, it's a great baking tool. I'm going to show you how I do that. Our first pie is a mixed berry crisp, and we're going to make the crisp topping first. Very, very simple. What you need is 1 cup of quick oats, half a cup of packed brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup of whole all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a stick of softened butter, in this case maybe partially melted. First, before we put the butter in there, we want to get this mixed up real quick. It's not anything that you have to be too careful about. I quite often will do these in Ziploc bags. It makes it so much easier. But you can't really see it that well on camera, and it makes cleanup better. So get it roughly mixed up, and then let's get your butter in there. And start incorporating the butter into the crisp mixture. And what we're looking for is a texture that's going to be crumbly. Sometimes you just got to get your hands in there, preferably after you've washed them. Just keep mixing that up until it's all incorporated in there. Show you how to mix the mixed berry filling next. Time to make our filling. This is a mixed berry. It's frozen, that I've since defrosted and drained. It's 2 bags. I have 1 cup of sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, or excuse me, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a generous teaspoon of vanilla. This recipe works best when you've completely defrosted the berries and you've drained them several times. You don't have to rinse them, that's not necessary. But it tends to get a little liquidy as it goes. But you can see that gooey mess right there is ready to go. Now it's time to put our pie crust in our pie tin. Time to get our pie crust ready. A little Crisco, paper towel, and apply a nice coating to your pie tin. This is not like seasoning it, this is actually putting a layer on there to keep everything from sticking. Now, it is entirely up to you if you want to make your own pie crust. I'm not going to go through that lesson. It's super, super simple. I've actually got cheater pie crust for you, as I know a lot of you like to use it. It doesn't quite have that wonderful flavor of a fresh pie crust, but the stuffing in the inside of this and on the top of this is going to more than make up for it. And if you can get it all off without ruining it, like I almost did, and simply lay our pie crust in our pie tin. Work it up the sides, fix our little hole there. Always start with the bottom, work your way up the sides. Fix or repair any damaged parts. Get that set in place. Simple as that. Let's take our mixed berry filling. And get that in there. Does that look gorgeous or what? Now we're going to take our crisp topping, and we are just, now that the consistency is all blended, the butter's all mixed in with the quick oats and the brown sugar, we're just going to layer that on the top. Now traditionally crisp don't have pie crust, but that's the way I like them. Evenly coated on all the surfaces, and we're done. Pie number 1 ready to go. Pie number 2, pumpkin pie. You can use cheater pumpkin pie mix in a can, or you can do like I did last night. I took the Halloween pumpkin that was left over, and they were small. These are pie pumpkins. They're perfect. They're a little bit sweeter. I just cut it in quarters, seeded it, baked it for about 1 hour, scooped out the goodies, and then I pureed it in the food processor just to make it a little easier on me. So what I came up with is about 3 cups here. This recipe is really as basic as you can get. It was handed down to me by a friend. I have no idea where the recipe came from, but it's very, very simple. About 3 cups of pumpkin pie filling. We have half a cup of brown sugar. Well, I'll just add these in. 1 cup of regular sugar. I have a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of clove, salt, a teaspoon, cinnamon, a tablespoon, 1, 4 eggs, beaten, 1 cup of evaporated, 1 can of evaporated milk. And we are going to blend all this together without making a mess. And we're going to put it in our pie pan. So once you have your cheater pie crust in your cast iron pie pan, and we can start ladling in our pumpkin mixture. There's going to be more than is going to fit in the pie tin with 3 cups of pumpkin. So you're going to be able to save this and make a mini pumpkin pie and such. But basically we're just going to fill this up now and take advantage of some of this wonderful pumpkin spice flavor that is going to be a definite crowd pleaser in your home. This is going to swell up a little bit as it bakes, so don't go quite to the top of your pie pan. I'm going to say about 3/4 of an inch from the top. We're going to stop right there. So that's pumpkin pie. Pie number 2, super simple. Pie number 3 coming up. Pie number 3 is a cranberry apple crumble. This is really good. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare the apples, and I already did that. Basically, it's wash them, skin them, core them, and slice them nice and thin like that. And I have about 5 gala apples here. It's probably more than I'm going to need in the pie crust because I'm only making a 10-inch. If it was a 12-inch, it would probably fit a little bit better. But at this point, overkill is okay because you can always make another pie. About 8 ounces of fresh cranberries. And a half a cup of firmly packed brown sugar. And this is 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. A teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/8 a teaspoon of salt. And 2.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now let me get this mixed up here real quick, and then I'll add the lemon juice. Otherwise it'll coagulate on me all on the flour on the top. We'll give this a stir. And this is going to be our filling, and frankly, I have enough for about 2 pies here. Our crumble topping is pretty simple. It's 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of coarse chopped pecans, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we just need to mix this up real quick here. And this is a hand mix because I'm going to be adding some butter here in a second with my hands. So get that all mixed up. Add the butter after you've mixed your pecan flour mixture up. That's coated. And then we want to take our butter, softened butter. It's a 1/2 stick cut up into basically 1/2-inch pieces. And then we need to crumble that up into our flour mixture. And work that together until the butter has been incorporated into the flour, giving it a crumble type texture, crumbly texture. Now it's time to put the pie together. Get your cheater pie crust or your homemade pie crust and get it in your pie tin. We're going to add our filling next. Now keep in mind when this bakes that there will be some compression as the apples and cranberries soften up. So it's going to be okay if we really pack this in and fill it up. Don't be shy here. Actually, it looks like I'm going to need the whole thing. Misguessed it there just a bit. So let's get this in there. Let's spread around. Now we want to take another 1/2 stick of butter. That's pretty good. And just dot the top of that. Like so. Now we have our butter dotted on top of our filling, and we're going to take that crumble that we made and we're going to start sprinkling that all around. The difference between a crumble and a crisp is pretty much oatmeal. I love a crisp, but this crumble with the pecans is going to give it a really nice crunch, somewhat, that you will as if it was a crisp. Okay. Got a little extra pie crust there. And that's basically it. All right, that's pie number 3. Pie number 4. It is my apple cranberry crisp pie. Kind of a blend of a lot of different things. But first thing we're going to start with is our crisp mixture. What I have here is 2 cups of quick oats. I have 1 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of flour, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1 stick of butter that we're going to blend in. But I want to get the flour mixture mixed up, and this is a hand game. Might as well go for it. Quickly mixed up. Then we want to add our butter to make a crumble topping, and that gets a little messy fun. So I'm going to mix this up real quick. So this is our crumble topping, and this is the way we want it to look. I've taken about 1/3 of it and reserved it onto the side. And we're going to put that in there. We're going to mix that up. Get a good mix on that real quick. Once that's fairly coated, we're going to add our caramel. Now, basically what these are Werther's caramel pieces of candy that I've cut into thirds. I've taken about 20 of them. And one of the things that I learned was that these things stick together once they're out of the wrapper. So I coat them lightly in flour and they don't stick. I hope that's a good tip that you can use. But take those and get them in there. And we're going to give those a good mix so that they're evenly dispersed throughout our apple mixture. We have a nice heavenly coat like that. That's it. Now it's time to put our pie together. So again, we're taking our cheater pie crust and using that as the base for our pie. There's really a couple ways to do this. You could take this crumble and you could put it in the bottom of your pie pan and use that as your base, but I just love it this way, and that's the way I'm going to do it for you guys here. The apple just basically gets packed in there with the caramel bits, and we want to stuff that as full as we possibly can, getting every bit of this in there, especially those caramel bits. Okay, so this is, I guess, what you would call a mile-high apple pie. Get that packed in there. Now we're going to take our apple cider. I have a ½ cup of apple cider, and I'm going to drizzle that over everything here. We have that. We're going to take the rest of our crumb topping and we're going to pack that gently over the top. All these crumbs and pieces that are falling all over the ground. Bailey's got it. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now, the final piece to this would be to put some more butter crumbled over the top if you choose. And we're ready to bake. We got 4 pies made and we're rocking and rolling. So over the course of a couple hours, you can tell by the way the sun shifted through the shadows, and I'm still in the shadows, we've managed to make 4 classic holiday pies. Made our mixed berry crisp, made a pumpkin pie, I have a cranberry apple pecan crisp topping, or excuse me, crumble, and here we have a apple caramel crisp pie. And I'm going to put these in my Camp Chef after it's been preheated for about 15 minutes. I want to get it up to about 350, 375. And all 3 of these pies, or 4 of these pies, are going to cook for probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour on the bigger one. So we'll be checking in on this. Now, if you want these recipes, I want you to go to www.cooking-outdoors.com I'll have those recipes listed there. And let's get this warmed up. Okay, we're at 350 degrees, been preheating this for a while. Now we need to get these pies in here and start baking. So I have my trays set up, 4 equal heights. And they should just slide right in like that was nobody's business. And be careful, it is hot. And these are going to sneak in there with, whew, that's a tight fit. I made them too stuffy. But no fear. There you go. 4 pies, Camp Chef Smoke Vault. Going to let those bake for approximately 30 minutes as is, and then I'm going to take a quick look at them because I'm probably going to have to foil them up because I don't want to burn my crusts or the crisp topping, which is nothing unusual with pie baking. So see you in a bit. Well, our pies are actually done now. It did take a little longer than I initially anticipated. I forgot to calculate for the mass of the pies in the smoke vault. And what that means is the more you have in a small space, the longer it's going to take to heat up that particular item that's in there. So if I had 1 pie in there, it would take 45 minutes, and 4 pies closer to an hour and a half. They're pretty big pies. But I'm pretty darn excited with how these turned out, and I think you will be too. Let's pull these out and take a look at them. You can see they're bubbling, they're nicely browned, ready to come out. This is our beautiful pumpkin pie. Mixed berry crisp. Our Cranberry Apple Pecan Crumble. You can just see it bubbling away there. And finally, the apple caramel crisp. So there you have it, 4 holiday pies in the Camp Chef Smoke Vault. So it's not just for smoking, it's for baking. Okay, this is Gary Houston cooking everything outdoors. Before I go, I needed to give a big shout out to my sponsors, Camp Chef, OutdoorCooking.com, and Island Grillstone. Without you guys, this couldn't happen. I really, really appreciate it. I also appreciate all the subscribers on YouTube and all the great comments I'm getting on iTunes. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter, on Pinterest, and who knows where else. Oh, don't let me forget, I'm now on the Taste Made Network on YouTube, so come join us. Thanks again.